he had told Maung Dakpa to open up a temple and go and just do it. And so he winds up in some boondock area of Tibet, builds a temple, and has all these illiterate barbarians to teach. And so he's asking Tsongkhapa, give me something to teach these people. Because back then, nobody read anything. Nobody, it was all just listening to your Lama's words. And Tsongkhapa, in his 14 verses, was very unique and very rare that he's very weepy. I mean, he's pretty sweet with this. I guess he was a favorite student or a beloved student because he writes the essence of the path to Buddhahood in these 14 verses, Lam Tso Nam Sum. The path that their holy sons commend, that's bodhicitta they're talking about here. And the fortunate seeking freedom refers to achieving the path of seeing, or having a direct perception of emptiness. The Lam Tso Nam Sum, the three principal paths, will cover Ngenjung, which is renunciation, Jangsam, which is bodhicitta, and then Yangtak Tawa, which is correct view, which is correct view of emptiness, karma, dependent origination, these things. Like two wings of a bird, with just bodhicitta, not much you can't get to Buddhahood. Just emptiness, you can't get to Buddhahood. But with these two things, a great understanding of the wish for enlightenment to help beings, and understanding emptiness, you can very much achieve Buddhahood. With Tantra in this life, that's the big pitch with Tantra. Renunciation. What is renunciation? Renunciation is kind of like a healthy sickness for this type of suffering existence. If this samsara, what they call samsara pura, existed, it was in its essence suffering from its own side, there would be not really much use in practicing a religious path. It wouldn't change. Because in the emptiness shtick, the correct view, it's only due to the fact that things have no inherent existence that they can change. They are mentally projected. And those mental projections are being constantly forced on you by your past karma in the form of mental impressions you take within your mental continuum. Because of this, your reality can change. If, like in the first turning of the wheel, there's 3 turning of the wheels that Lord Buddha gave. The first turning of the wheel, he said to the 5 ascetics in the deer park in Varanasi. He said to the 5 ascetics, oh, life is suffering. There are causes for suffering. There's an end to suffering, and there's a path that I can teach you to get out of the suffering. And he said, oh, by the way, these things exist inherently. They exist essentially. Then, the second turn of the wheel, Lord Buddha, in the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras, like Diamond Sutra, Heart Sutra, he says, oh, by the way, no phenomena have inherent existence. They're all empty of inherent existence. Then in the third turn of the wheel, the Bodhisattva Paramartha Samagata said, oh, world-honored one, there seems to be a slight contradiction here. Essential existence, the lack of inherent existence, I'm getting a little confused here. And so Lord Buddha does a very detailed analysis of all cause phenomenon, all phenomenon, and says you have to make these fine distinctions. I wouldn't tell you that everything lacks inherent. That's crazy talk. Our lineage believes that he was telling a straight dope during the second turning of the wheel. But some disciples cannot handle that truth. I was working a job in Tucson, and I met some very devout, born-again Christians. And when they started asking me about my Buddhist beliefs, I was like, well, we really don't accept the creator deity thing. And they flipped out, like they lost it on me. And it makes you think that some people, their beliefs, whether it be political beliefs or religious beliefs, are very strong. And so Lord Buddha taught many different teachings that he could, to different disciples, to what they could handle at that time. It may not be the straight, dope truth, but he figured, well, this will get them to a certain, and that's how they believe the classic 4 Indian schools are. That slowly, slowly you get a better understanding of dependent origination and emptiness. And it takes you to a place where eventually you can go and meditate on the real deal. As a matter of fact, Tsongkhapa propounds that you can know a thing by everything that is not. You can know emptiness by contemplating the self-existence of phenomena. You can, to know the lack of inherent existence of phenomenon, you can think about the self-existence of phenomena and how that might function. They call it gaccha, a self-existent thing, the thing we deny in Tibetan, gaccha. And they say, how would this self-existent thing function? Just to get an understanding of emptiness. So renunciation. Basically, what you're renouncing in renunciation, you can be living a very happy suburban existence. All that you want to get rid of in this Buddhist renunciation is the suffering parts to you. The fact that you're forced to take on a mind that falls apart, brain, parts of you that just fall apart. The main thing you want to get rid of is that. You could be having a nice big screen TV, having a good job, and have perfect renunciation. It doesn't mean you have to go live in a mountain somewhere, like that's some of the Dharma beliefs, that only if you're a yogi, not having a job, you know, eating nettles and meditating in a cave, can you have proper renunciation. That's not, a yogi in a cave can be having a very strong kind of addiction to this world, especially to the name, like I'm a great master, or I'm a great monk, or I'm a great meditator. They can very much be a grasping, a self-cherishing person, very much into the things of this world while meditating in a cave. The point of the renunciation is the entry. If you got the renunciation, which you know when you have it, when it's like you're fanatical, I guess, in a sense, that day and night you want to get liberated. You do all the proper steps, you study, you meditate, to get this liberation, to be of some kind of benefit to living beings. That kind of renunciation is just expanded to bodhicitta. It's like you get this wish to get enlightened, and that's like a Hinayana motivation. If you were to just run with that, then you know you can wind up in the extreme of peace, which is a nirvana of peace. You just want people to leave you alone, and you've got no mental afflictions, no gross mental afflictions, and no subtle mental afflictions, and no causes of mental afflictions in your head, and just leave me alone. That's one type of renunciation. The Hinayana or the Theravada traditions have that kind of nirvana. But Mahayana nirvana, and particularly Mahayana renunciation, is that you have that kind of renunciation, and then you extend it to all living beings. You're like, my God, if I'm suffering, then everybody else must be suffering too. No wonder everybody's having a bad day. Maybe I thought it was just me. So it's like, it's just adding on to, it's just elaborating on a fundamental Buddhist concept and state. A healthy disgust for the suffering aspects of this life, particularly the parts of you that are forced to come apart.